Yo, what is up, friends? This is SaganSurvives, and I wanted to make a quick update on the Swarmblade Bleed Bug build. I wanted to firstly thank everyone for checking out this video and my previous video posted on this channel, my first video posted on this channel. I really love this game, and it's bringing me a lot of joy to be able to share some of my enjoyment of this game with the growing Last Epoch community. And thank you for all the compliments and questions about the build. This Druid is level 59 right now, and we are in the first monolith, non-empowered. I will include links below in the description going over my leveling gear setup and point allocations as they are right now in this video, and an imager album of gear, skill trees, passives, and a fresh Last Epoch tools link. If you have any questions on how to level from level 1, I invite you to check out my recent streams, or you can check out the document in the description called Bleed Bug Leveling Tips. I want to keep this particular video short, but I am going to work on a more full-form build guide to give a better showcase of endgame expectations and overall power of the build. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel and give a like to the video if you enjoy it, as I'm going to keep making hardcore Last Epoch content. Thank you so much. I wanted to do a quick shout out to YouTube GigaChad commenter Dresswell for correctly asking on the first video and pointing out that the AoE swarm around us is actually not causing bleed ticks. In hindsight, that would have been very OP. But the reason I was confused is because this build has so much built-in flat damage. I honestly didn't notice that the clear is just hit damage on normal mobs, and for single target rares and bosses, applying 3 to 4 plus stacks of bleed per hit with Serpent Strike and Endgame gear setup, I thought bleed stacks had a passive source. Anyway, thanks again to Dresswell for correcting that. However, I do want to just point out that this build does revolve around swarm striking as many locusts as possible to create a large AoE around us. This takes care of most of the clear in maps, and when you have a large HP enemy, Arm Blade Slash is how we applied bleed stacks to it, as well as the initial hit of Swarm Strike. And because of Hive Mind, we are generating extra locusts from our Swarm Strike, making it easier to maintain the AoE that we get from Swarm Strike as we are mapping and moving around the map. One huge thing I wanted to point out about the build is Serpent Strike got a massive update with Swirling Carnage, as you see here. Swirling Carnage will now scale the bleed damage that Serpent Strike applies based on how many Maelstrom stacks we have, and it gives a little bit more bleed chance. So this node is absolutely massive for the build, so definitely make sure you have it. The important things to note for the current 0.9e build is that the Locust Swarm animation has been fixed. They are now appearing normally, and so that makes it a little bit easier to track them. Secondly, I recommend dropping Lunge from the Serpent Strike tree. It might not be the exact name of it, but it's the Lunge type of node in the Serpent Strike tree. Again, links in the description if you have any questions about that. After using it in game, I feel that it's not necessary, and we can get free armor shred on hit instead. Updated skill trees are in the description. And finally, the first thing I noticed once I got into Swarmblade form in 0.9 is that our Locust minions are noticeably more aggressive than before 0.9 patch. And I believe this has to do with the minion AI update, which is overall very good for the game. And at first I was a little confused, but after playing the build for a little while it did throw me off at the beginning, this is actually a big buff for us as well. One thing I talked about in the first video was about the fact that you had to do a bit of micromanagement for your minions in order to really get the biggest effect out of the AoE swarm around us, and now that is just going to be a little bit easier, and the reason is because the minions are now aggroing to things faster than I am. So I'm adapting in the monolith progression here by following them, and by them I mean the minions, following the locusts a bit more as I map. They are now buzzing predator drones mercilessly and instantly hunting down our foes and showing us the path to carnage. But for real though, they are not messing around. So I recommend trying to follow them around the areas you travel through in order to maximize how many locusts you consume for strikes. And overall, I'm going to keep on playing this build. I really hope you guys are enjoying it. It's definitely up for interpretation and how exactly you want to tweak the overall build, but I do think that bleed is the best way to scale the single target damage. I'm going to have the final boss fight here coming up, and overall, I just wanted to say thanks again. That's it for this video. I'm going to get back into the grinding of the monoliths, and do like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. All right, good luck in Convergence, and I'll see you in Terra.